Welcome to the 6 p.m. Soul Center Global Recovery Dharma meeting. Glad to be here. I am John, and I get to lead the meditation tonight. It's great to see everybody. Great to see everybody online, coming from all over the country. Okay, it's like I said, great to see everybody again. And the topic of the month, and I heard big chunks of it, and now I'm trying to think. It's about honesty and trust
and betrayal.
and betrayal. I don't have a whole lot of betrayal today, which it just seems like it'd be totally me, so I should have just jumped on it. But well, no, I do, if I really look at it. So I spent some time watching myself after I heard what the topics were. And I saw how I ran into different things. I was working with a different meeting, and I'm starting to learn to do for that meeting what Lo does for this meeting, and that's be the Zoom tech. And there's a few things I need to load a meditation, I need to load a script, I need to, make sure everyone's microphones are off, I need to make sure that we don't have Zoom bombers, and I'm jumping on, and I wouldn't do it for the longest time, even though I wanted to do it, because I was afraid of messing up and looking like a fool, right? I really had that fear. And I'm like, I need to give myself permission to just mess up, whatever I do. So many things I won't do or I have not done because I'm just afraid of failing. Oh, it's okay to fail. It's okay to mess up. And then, so I'm getting ready, and another member of this meeting gets in contact with me and goes, "Hey, John, the Zoom tech thing, you're right, can be really complicated, and I want to come in and help you." And you'll never guess what my first response in my head was to that. No, I got this. I went through the head. I can figure this out. Meanwhile, there are things I'm legitimately worried that I may not fully know how to do and I'm uncertain about. And he goes, "Well, I can come in and just help you out." And then I go, I need to be open to help people. I'm willing to help people. I should be open to them helping me. I mean, receiving their help. And not thinking that they will see me as this is my word, loser. I think a lot of people use that word, or someone who's not capable or not on top of it, and just recognize I am a learner. And they were with me both times I took the Zoom meeting this week. And both times I didn't do it perfectly. And both times I just let myself be a learner. It was a wonderful experience. I'm like, oh man, I didn't do that right. I'm still learning this, I'll do better. And it was really a non-stressful experience for me. I felt much more in a right place, like I had the right level of stress about it. I wanted to do it well, and I was putting in the effort, but I also realized because I was new, I was going to make mistakes, and just to let that go. And that was tough. So in this case, trusting myself was knowing I would probably make mistakes and accepting help. It followed through that I showed a film that I show my kids for emotional intelligence learning, and it's called Feeling Through. And I was thinking, when I showed this to them, I was thinking about the trust and the self-confidence. I thought of self-confidence with myself. And showing this, and I'd showed this to students before, but I showed it, and all of a sudden it like hit me. Wow, this trust gig is really a substantial and meaty piece of my spiritual development. And the story, if you ever get a chance, Feeling Through, it's on Amuleto, it's won awards, it's 15 minutes long. But it's about this kid who is struggling and he's homeless, and he runs into someone who needs help, and how they get around New York City is they have a sign that says, I am deaf and blind. Tap me on the shoulder if you're willing to help me cross the street. So this kid helped this person cross the street, helped them get a drink, helped them catch the bus. And it was a very life changing sort of interaction that these two people had, this homeless kid and this deaf and blind person who was absolutely reliant on other people, but trusted people to catch a bus, to tell him when to get off the bus, to help him cross the street, to hand his wallet so he can buy a tea. Handed his wallet so the person would take money out. And I thought,
was the setting like in the early 1900s?
no, it was now, but it could be. But it was an amazing film, and it gives faith in humanity in a realistic way. This is something that can really happen. And so it's an emotional film. Every time I watch it, I feel emotional in a very, very good way. That's what trust can do. All of us at some time in our life will need to trust people absolutely. As a fact, I would argue we trust people absolutely right now every day without realizing it. When the light turns green and I go to cross the street in my automobile, I am trusting that everyone will stop at the red light. Or when I'm crossing the street and I have the walk sign, I am trusting, I still double check, and it's a good thing I do, that people will stop and be mindful that there's a pedestrian crossing the street. I trust that people will do their jobs to make sure an electricity grid is maintained and that people will grow and pick food that I can purchase and live off of. I trust all these things without giving it a thought. And without trust, everything falls apart. People would argue that all of society is built on money. Maybe. I'd argue it's built on trust.
You have to trust the money.
And the reality is the money only has value because we trust it does. So if someone gives me money, I trust that someone else will take the money from me. That's even on trust too. Everything is on trust. So I'm really glad that I took the time to watch myself and realize how big of a thing it was, because I don't know if I could have went my whole life without really looking at the concept of trust. And I am not a trusting person. Now, there's a proverb in the Bible, yes, I'm going to say the Bible, that says, "He who does not trust will not be trusted." And I had to think about that myself, because I go, well, I'm not a very trusting person. I don't think they're talking about trusting people who are not necessarily trustworthy. I think they're talking about me when I am trying to control everything, when I don't accept help from other people, when I won't do stuff because I'm perfectionistic. I feel like in those points I'm not trusting, so in those circumstances, people around me would not trust me in those things because they know I won't do them. Doesn't mean I'm a bad or a good person, it just means that's been my experience with that. So to be trusting, to realize things will turn out the way they will turn out, and that for the most part people will do what they need to do to keep things going miraculously. If you look at us, it's a pretty wonderful thing. It changes the way I see things. Most people do not commit heinous crimes. If they did, it would all fall apart. It's just a small amount of people. Yeah. One last thing before I get on a very short meditation. Another thing I ran into watching myself is I'm going to get ready to put on social media, change what my job is. And I chose to be a paraeducator, and I'm a special paraeducator that works with special kids, but it's called student paraeducator. And I'm like, well, can't I just say I changed my job from being a teacher at the Healing Lodge to being a teacher for JDC for summer school to being a worker at Ferris, because I didn't think that people would think I was very talented or capable or ambitious if I was just a paraeducator. And I go, what were the reasons I wanted to be a paraeducator? And I go, I wanted things to be simpler and I wanted to focus more on the student. And I was amazed that I felt shame that I was taking a step down to a lower paying, less prestigious job. I'm like, is that how I build self-confidence? And I want to cover up that I chose to do that because it doesn't match other people's concepts of what ambitious and what successful is. So I'm going to put in there that I am a student paraeducator for Ferris, and I'm going to put it in there full-heartedly that it's something that I'm excited about doing, I'm certain I will love doing, and that I'm glad I'll be doing because it is taking a step down to stuff that was just stressing me out all the time. But to do that, I mean, I can just feel very emotional just taking that step back from the prestige. I always talked about money and worried about the money. But it might not have ever been about the money. It might have been about the prestige. I was in charge of a program, and now I'm going to be taking directions from all sorts of people. There's potential. One of the things I will be doing is helping people go to the bathroom. So, yeah, it's going to be that kind of work. And I'm happy I'm doing it. So when I look at trust, I look at confidence, and I see that it's really an inside job and something I really need to look at. And it turned into a profound experience for me. So I'm glad you chose it. As usual, I'm glad you choose stuff, and then I just get reflective and contemplative about it. So I'm just going to do a basic meditation with the what little time we have left, and I'll do it pretty quickly. Sit or lie in a comfortable but attentive posture, allowing your back to be straight but not rigid or stiff. Feel your head balanced on your shoulders. Allow your face and jaw to relax, with arms and hands resting in a comfortable position. Be attentive to what's happening within your own awareness, right here and right now, without judgment. And as you sit, begin to notice the sensations of breath. Pay attention for a moment to how your abdomen moves on each in-breath and out-breath, the movement of air through your nostrils, the slight movement of your chest and shoulders. Find the spot in your body where the sensation of breathing is most vivid, whether it be your abdomen, your chest, or your shoulders, or the movement of air through your nostrils. If breathing's a struggle with you, you can notice the center part in your forehead and just put your focus there. Feel your feet against the floor or your back against the cushion if you're lying down. The focus doesn't have to be the breath. See how fully aware you can be of your whole cycle of breathing, recognizing that each part of the cycle is different from the other part. You will notice your attention shifting away from the breath from time to time. It's perfectly normal for thoughts to wander into fantasies, memories, worries, or things you need to do. When you notice your mind has wandered, try to meet it with a spirit of friendliness. You don't need to do anything about it. There is nothing to fix. Rather than forcing it, just try to allow yourself to become curious about what it's like to be breathing right now. And you'll find that the attention is naturally drawn back to the physical sensations of breath as it moves through your body. Stay alert, relaxed, and above all, compassionate as you maintain awareness of where the mind goes. Each time you notice the mind has been distracted or has wandered, gently shift your awareness back to the sensations of breath. Notice the tendency to want to control your breathing. Let the quality of attention be light and easy, one of simply observing and noticing. You don't need to control the duration, intensity, pace, or the pause between each breath. Just be present. We can take a moment now just to realize in our everyday lives that it's okay for us to make mistakes. That our mistakes are fundamental parts of our practice. It's all right for us to be exactly who we are. And the more we are who we are, the better and happier and more peaceful we will really be. And it's amazing when we can accept the help of others. When this happens, two people grow. Two people become much more interacting together. As the meditation comes to an end, recognize that you spent this time intentionally aware of your moment-to-moment experience, building the capacity for opening the senses to the vividness, to the changes, to the aliveness of the present moment, expanding your skill to be curious about and open to whatever presents itself without judgment. Then, whenever you're ready, allow your eyes to open and gently bring your attention back to the space you're in. We'll do the dedication of merit. May we be happy and peaceful. May we be healthy and strong. May we be safe and protected. May we live with ease. Namaste.
Namaste.